Rick here. Welcome to Digital Fortress. Glad to see you all here. I'm finally back home after a long 7-week trip, and I can use my home equipment now to do live streams. And I'm going to summarize the polls that I ran on Twitter the last couple of months, September and October of 2020 here. And hopefully that'll be kind of fun and get a conversation going. And thank you everyone for joining me here at Digital Fortress. Hello, Sing, Malky Dot, I the King. Welcome. Glad to have you all here. Ada Crypto, Cala Crypto. Good to have you here. All right. If you have any questions for me, we can also do a little bit of an AMA as I go through these Twitter polls and summarize them. Let me know what you think. Hey, Dave. Good to see you there. JSLX. All right. Glad to have everybody here. Let me jump right into the Twitter polls. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to leave the PowerPoint. I just threw the Twitter polls into PowerPoint, so I can go through them quickly and I don't have to navigate through it. So let me grab that desktop and put that out there. Give it a moment to show up. Looks like it's showing up. Yeah, back in the Fortress. All right. Okay, so let's see. Do I have the right screen up? Yes, there I do. Got it up there. All right. So the first poll I have up, the poll was for Gogen, based on the current Cardano development velocity. Now, this poll is from about a month and a half ago. Some of these, I started from oldest and worked my way to the newest. This is an older one. Based on current Cardano development velocity, the existence of Plutus and Marlow Playground, it's been around for a couple years now, but it's been evolving and developing. And observable events. When do you think we will see the first deployment of Gogen-type tech on Cardano mainnet? All right. Well, there is some Gogen-type tech on the 1.21.1 stake pool nodes. All right, so just be aware of that. It's metadata in the blockchain. And a really cool thing was a gentleman named Adam Dean actually did the Spocker voting on the Cardano blockchain. I was able to vote using Daedalus Wallet. It was really cool. It wasn't the official way of doing it, but he figured out a very clever way. And shout out to Adam Dean for that over there at the pool named Spike, Buffy and Spike. He's a member of that team. So the answers here we got. By end of December 2020 was a winning answer. By end of October, that's not likely to happen. Maybe, I just put out on Twitter, possibly by the end of November. Possibly you're going to see some Gogen type tech. It'll be an iterative process where more and more tech is deployed until Gogen is fully deployed. Winning answer here was December 2020. I think it might be out greater than 50% probability, could be out by the end of November, but I'm not going to stick hard on that. You guys know how I do probabilities. And then 31% said early 2021. Maybe to 31%, I agree. That's a reasonable number. I would lean higher towards you'll get something out there by the end of 2020. So that's good stuff there. All right. Any questions in chat? Again, welcome back. Thanks for welcoming back. I appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to try to get through these briefly, thorough, and also if you have comments, let me know in chat. I'll be monitoring chat as well. Number two, will the Cardano mainnet hit 50% total ADA stake today? Now, this was done in the latter part of September, and it was approaching 50%. It was at like 49.7%. We were looking to hit 50%. Somewhere right at about 16 billion. It didn't make it there today or tomorrow, 2 days longer. It took about a week. It broke the 50% marker, and now we're at 17 billion ADA staked. So it's well over 50%. You got to kind of keep in mind the numbers go up on a curve. So the curve rises rapidly at the beginning when the mainnet first deployed, and then it kind of tapers out over time. If you imagine a curve coming up rapidly at the beginning, then tapering off, and then you hit a point of diminishing returns where the percentage only goes up maybe 1% every couple of weeks. Then it'll be 1% maybe once a month. And then at some point, it'll kind of flatline sometime in the next couple of months where it will no longer continue to rise. It's funny, I've looked up some Daedalus addresses, the old DDZ addresses on the block explorers, and there's still some old addresses out there with quite a few million ADA in them. I'm not sure why they're still dormant, I suppose, is one way of putting it, but kind of interesting. Kelly Crypto says he's thinking in the first quarter 2021, possibly before the complete deployment, like March of 2021 for complete deployment of Gogen, but I think you might see quite a few features, possibly a multi-asset ledger out there by March of 2021. I think it'll easily be out there by then. But you're possibly Marlowe related stuff on there by December. Plutus and Marlowe getting out there on the main net. What's interesting is Yoroi is a multi-asset wallet where Yoroi will allow ERG and Cardano both in it. So when you set up Yoroi, you can select the token type and you can select ERG in there and store and transact with ERG on that. So pretty interesting. Things are really starting to come together. All right. So my third poll here, and I got 16, so I'll try to get through them. Now, this wasn't my poll. This was from Bitcoin Suisse, and it said, which staking protocol are you most excited about for proof of stake? Tezos, Polkadot, Dash, and Cardano. And this came out when Polkadot was all the hype. And I think at the time I did either Tezos, Polkadot. At the time I retweeted it. Now, usually I don't retweet these because they'll throw it off. This was September 16th. I left the date on there because there's a lot of Cardano people on my Twitter. It's 4,600 people, and they're almost all folks with Cardano. So by retweeting it, it kind of throws a poll. And then I thought, screw it. I'm just going to retweet it and see what happens. And Cardano was already doing pretty strong, but I think Polkadot was leading because of all the fancy news out about that. And then Cardano quickly took over and blew it away because we have such a strong, solid community. That's what happens. And, Tezos, they could have retweeted it. Polkadot, they probably retweeted it. But there you go. So that was Cardano with 49%. Well done, Team Cardano. Good job, guys. All right. Let's see. Dave says, do I own any BTC? Yes, very small amount. I traded a very large amount. Well, but BTC and Ethereum that I've collected up over the years, I traded it through the pledge on my stake pools. The pledging on a stake pool is no joke. That's $50,000 per pool I got thrown on there. So you're looking at 100K of cryptocurrencies that myself and my two sons who build the pools with me, it took us a while to save that up, that plus the ADA we had, but we kind of went all in Cardano because, if you believe in something, what the hey, you may as well go for it. Right. So I don't have much BTC left, and I'm okay with that. Mark B asks, when oracles are planned, will you be running oracles in potential business like running stake pool? Yes, I'm going to run oracles. I'm going to run an oracle pool, so it'll collect the data from the oracles, and then it'll connect the other pools that are also running as oracles to reach consensus about the data that's coming in from the oracles. There's a really good video. I wish I remember who made it. I'll see if I can find it and get it linked down below, where Robert Kornacki. Okay, so on the Cardano effect with Robert Kornacki explains it, how the oracle pool is the collector of data, and then there's a oracle transmitter out there, something that actually gets the data and sends it to the pools. So pretty neat stuff, really neat stuff. All right, let's see here. Next one. This was for Cardano Spose. Which node interface tool is your favorite? So there's two community built tools. You have Your Manager, built by Andrew Westberg over Blue Cheese Steakhouse, and you have CN Tools, built by the Operators Guild, a collection of people like Priyank and Pal and Marcus and Ola Oman and a bunch of folks, lots of different folks working on that project for CN Tools, 15%, Command Line 31.1%. So I think what happens is a lot of people that use CN Tools or Your Manager, you can use them multiple, tend to roll back to the command line as their default go-to tool. So good stuff. And also, if any pool operators haven't seen it yet, there is a really cool Haskell-based node interface coming out, so you can review the status of the node, multiple nodes, and it is full Haskell back and front end in a web browser or in a web interface. It's using web tools and WebSockets and all that kind of stuff. All Haskell front to back. I asked the developer, is it using a Haskell front end? Yes. Haskell back end? Yes. Right. Awesome. Okay, so neat stuff. Next one, number 5 of 16. This poll is doing Cardano stake pool market research on Twitter good idea, bad idea? Yes, good idea, 55%. Bad idea, 15%. I asked that one because people were saying, they were rejecting the market data because, I actually did market research on Twitter for the DIGI polls. If you look at the polls I posted before, the 500,000 pledge is right inside that zone, and the 3% pool fee is also inside the optimal zone of what a large number of people responded to those pools, both operators and delegators alike. Now, I know it's not scientific, right? Twitter poll data is not scientific, but some data is better than no data. That's my philosophy. I would rather have something. I listen to these polls. I pay attention to them. There's a lot to be learned. That's why I do them, because I'm curious. I'd like to know. Most people do. They want to know stuff. All right. So the next one was, it's kind of related. This poll was for Cardano pool operators. If you had to prioritize one, which training do you need the most? Okay. And the winning percentage was stake pool security how-to. Then number 2 was how to market a stake pool. Number 3 was how to operate, because we have over 1,000 operators out there, right? So they know how to operate. They've brought them up. They've built their pools, or they've got assistants building pools. They did the right thing. They got these pools running. We're well over 1,000 of 1,100-ish pools out there. And so the 2 winning ones here are how to market and security. Okay, so that's a good sign. And I kind of agree with that. So if there's anyone out there doing training on how to market the stake pool, I have some videos on my channel, and the stake pool security how-to as well. And, I got to give a shout out to all the pool operators out there. If you guys think about it, right now, Cardano has a massive computer wrapped around the earth, extremely powerful. The last I checked, there's about 2,300 relays and about 1,100 active block producers, or block producers available, and at least 600 of them producing blocks. But if you think about that, there's like about 3,400 to 3,500 computers out there networked across the planet. That is a lot of compute power. You're talking, there is terabytes and terabytes of RAM or whatever. I don't even freaking know. I didn't do the math, right? But 3,400 computers out there crunching numbers, securing the network. When Gogen launches, we're going to be killing it. We're going to be killing it, because that's a lot of compute power. It's there. Cardano did this right, built this massive staking network first. And then when people start putting these Gogen and DeFi apps on top of that network, the compute power's there. The network's there. We're not going to be like fighting some kind of battle like Ethereum is, whatever it is they're doing. All right. So next poll we got here, well, number 7 of 16. I'll try to keep rolling with them. This is one of 2 for all crypto users. Did you ever buy cryptocurrency because you saw YouTube videos, specifically because of video research doing YouTube videos? Okay. And a majority of people said yes, plus other research, or yes. Okay. So that's where the biggest part of the numbers came from. Was at about 63%. So about 2 to 1 said yes, or yes plus other research. 2 to 1. YouTube videos had an influence. I asked that question because the Project Catalyst proposals, the podcast proposers were getting a lot of pushback. And I thought, well, let's do some research here and find out, how much do people think YouTube has influenced their buying decisions? Okay. I thought it was important to understand that information. So there is a significant influence. It doesn't mean it's the final deciding factor, but it does seem to be rather helpful. So that's good to know. And then part 2 of the poll to all crypto users: what is the impact of the YouTube videos? So if you do agree with the videos, what is the impact? And a large percent, almost 60%, said very significant or significant. Okay. So YouTube does have a significant value to the crypto market, introducing new coins, tools, and technologies to the world, because YouTube is a big ocean. There's a lot of videos out there, and it's a big place. All right. So good stuff, good knowledge to know that YouTube does have that significant impact, and that these podcasters are onto something. You guys may have heard me say it before, but well over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I was very clear about Cardano is going to need an army of YouTubers. Existing YouTubers are already established, new YouTubers who are dedicated to Cardano, And now we have it. It's starting to form. If you ever look at how many different YouTubers are Bitcoin centric or Ethereum centric or altcoin centric, that's where you get the most viewers. If you just cover everything crypto, you'll draw in the largest crowd. Plus, you got to be really good at it, that too. So that's why YouTube has a big impact on crypto, because that's where people learn a lot. YouTube is a great place to learn new stuff. Okay. But Cardano centric, that army's starting to form. All of those people, either for a proposal or for running a stake pool, it has been very profitable. Okay, for people to do that. All right. So the next one, 9 of 16 here. For Cardano stake pool operators only, you're prepared to increase your node's processing power if Gogen requires it. Only if required. May not be required. Okay, may not need it. The Gogen software itself may not require more processing power. The transaction load maybe depends on the transaction load. I think that might have an effect. We are going to find out soon. Okay. But are you prepared? And a very significant number, although it says 37.3%, 48% said show results. Okay. So you're looking at, multiply that by 2. So you're looking at over 70% of operators are prepared to increase their node's processing power if required. That is a good sign. That is a good sign. I don't know if you guys heard about Filecoin. I'm not sure exactly what happened with Filecoin. I thought it was a really neat idea to kind of put it in the cloud and sharing data and all that kind of cool stuff. But a Filecoin node setup where you have one core and 2 other nodes, so it takes a combination of 3 nodes for Filecoin to run for one operator, requires 128 gigabytes of RAM per setup, multiplied by however many setups they need. I don't know what that number is, but imagine you have Cardano nodes required 128 gigabyte of RAM. That's really hard to do. It's really hard to do. But fortunately, Cardano has been built ultra efficient. Ultra efficient. That Haskell is crazy efficient and it's crazy stable. And yeah, the operators are ready to beef it up if they have to. That's 1,000 people out there. What are we looking at? That's over 700 people ready to beef it up if they need to. We got this, guys. We got this. Cardano's going to be killing it. All right. And then another about 22% of the 11%, multiply that by 2 roughly, said maybe if the cost benefit is worth it. And usually it will be. I think it'll be worth it because what's going to happen with Gogen is their native tokens, which is a really cool idea. People are going to launch native tokens. They'll be able to pay their fees in the native token, right? And then the pool operator will get a small fraction for processing those transactions, a very small fraction. Once that transaction load picks up, let's say you get a fraction of a coin 10 times a day, fraction of a coin 100 times a day. Things start to pick up. You get a fraction of a fraction 1,000 times a day. Holy cow. You're going to start making some money. You know what I'm saying? You're going to start making some money when all those tokens, like DC over at Liquid Finance. That's how his business model is going to run. He's brilliant. He's going to be killing it. DC at Liquid Finance. Check him out over at the Cardano Effect on a video. All right. So the next one, how can crypto improve the end user experience of people conducting an exchange of value? Compare crypto to fiat or credit. It's very important. Okay. Which one of the following is most important? Number 1, by a massive margin, make crypto easier to use. And then number 2 is get crypto widely accepted. Then the other 2 options, make crypto safer than fiat and make crypto buy products faster. People don't seem to be too worried about speed. They're not really worried about the speed of crypto. I think as long as it scales over time, as the transaction load gets heavier, they're pretty happy with the current speed of crypto. Okay. So make crypto easier to use. No, the reason this is so important, I'll give you an example. I used my credit card in Japan and my billing is in US dollars. But I would make my purchase with my credit card in Japan. I was just out in Japan for 7 weeks. I would put my card in a little chip reader thingy, and my purchase would be complete. And I'm walking away with my little chicken on a stick thing in like 15 seconds. That's pretty fast. Crypto has some serious competition. Okay, you got to make it that easy. I could take my little crypto chip money thingy and stick it in any chip reader, and it's safe and fast. And then I can walk away with my chicken on a stick. Okay, that they don't have tacos, but so they have chicken on a stick. So anyway, make it easier to use. There you go. All right, that's where you're going to get mass adoption. Well, one of the many factors. Okay. All right. Let me check chat real quick. I'm on number 10 of 16. Next one is number 11 of 16. This one was a parody. It's a parody poll. You can read over that. Excuse me. um, I'm going to check chat to see if you got any questions for me there. Let's see. Kaizen Crypto has been putting out some top-notch material lately. He's a great guy. He has such a genuine, awesome demeanor. Kaizen has such an awesome demeanor. He really does. He's just so well spoken. He just smooth. All right. Let's see. Gonna get one Litecoin a day soon enough. One LTC. Did I read that right? One LTC. Okay. All right. Oh, Crypto Egypt says the ERC20 converter. The ERC20 converter will poach projects from ETH, and it will be great for the network transaction. Yes, good point, Crypto Egypt. The ERC20 converter was absolutely brilliant. Now, you have to take ERC tokens with a grain of salt. I should probably do an entire video on that with my experience on working with ERC20 and 223 tokens. And I lost a lot of money on some ERC20 tokens because they just fizzled out, so not financial advice, but please proceed with caution, not financial advice. Proceed with caution. I don't think we want, 3,000 shit coins to show up on Cardano, Pick and choose wisely and do your research, not financial advice. All right, cool. All right, let's see. Gaming BTC, I like that name, Gaming BTC, love it. Why is everyone waiting for Gogen so much if Shelly was the biggest and hardest work to release? Yeah, so Shelly, that's a really good question. Shelly was the hardest to release. You have to build the underlying network and infrastructure, and it worked. What did I just say earlier? We got 3,400 nodes out there, 2,300 relays, 1,100 block producers. That was the hard part. It's built. And those stake pool operators are going to keep it running. Even though a lot of them are taking a loss right now, they know Cardano did it right. So they're going to hang in there and they're going to keep pushing forward. Okay. And that's what we need because they're dedicated. There's as many pools as retire, 2, 3, 8 pools per epoch retire, 2, 3, 8 pools come back into existence. Okay. Let me make sure my stream is still running because sometimes this thing craps out on me. Okay. It looks like it's still running. All right, cool. Let's see. So is it still running? Let me know if it's still running. Let's see. I the King said, let's be real. Didn't know. Let's see. Did I answer the Gogen question? Why is everyone waiting on Gogen? Oh, why? Because Gogen will get you out there. But let me double check that this stream. Oh, yeah, it is still going. Looks like it cut out for a bit. All right. So, yeah. So why is everyone so excited about Gogen? Because it greatly expands the capability. Once the underlying network is built, Gogen gives you the ability to create the apps and Dapps for people to interact. I can load a Dapp of some sort on my cell phone, interact with it. It reaches back and touches the blockchain in some way, and I get results on my screen. Okay. An example of CryptoKitties. All right. That's not a good example, but that's just the example I have. But it leads into the DeFi world, and that's the important part. Non-fungible tokens. There's a guy on Twitter, Crypto Kids and Crypto Buzz. They made non-fungible tokens. They did a pre-sale already. There are some left. They sold like 60 sets or something like that, and they're only going to sell a total of 100 of the first series. So once Gogen is out, they can launch their Crypto Kids non-fungible tokens. I thought it was pretty cool. I went ahead and got a set. Okay, there's a little bit of risk involved, but I thought it was worth it. So that was just me. Okay. Let's see. Let me continue on here. So let me go to number 12 of 16. Oh, I never really went over this poll. This was a parody, of course. So this whole thing, the Bitcoiners, well, on the Earthlings say using less energy is good. It doesn't matter how you make the energy. It doesn't matter where it comes from. If you make something more power efficient, that's a good thing. For example, Cardano is about well over 1,000,000 times more power efficient than Bitcoin, for example. Okay. Whereas the 0.001% of Bitcoins here on planet Earth, Bitcoiners, the maxis, this is a poke at the maxis. Okay. Those earthlings say using more energy is good, because I hear these crazy arguments like, oh, but it advances solar power and renewable energy. No, not really. That energy could be used somewhere else. You could charge a car with it, or you could, do whatever. But anyway, I thought it was kind of funny. All right, shut the hell up, Rick was the number 2 option there. So shut the hell up. I'm going to go to the next one. Number 12 of 16. The poll says, which wallet are you staking with on Cardano? Look at that, Daedalus. 60%. So 3-1 Daedalus over Yoroi. And then 8.2%, or what does that come out to? About 1 out of 10 people use both. So approximately 1 out of 10 people use both Daedalus and Yoroi. I use both. I got my primary on Daedalus, but 3-1 use Daedalus over Yoroi. Here's a really cool piece of information I saw from Danny from Stake Pool Fay on Twitter. He posted, there's a Catalyst version of Daedalus that's been launched for testing purposes, where it'll have the voting features in there. I haven't installed it yet. I'm going to install it and put a note on the test net and play around with that. And I'll tell you I'll do a video on that and see how that goes. Okay. Mark B says, I'm waiting for Daedalus to offer ledger support. Coming soon. I don't know when, but they activated the icon in one of the Daedalus versions. So it's active, but it's not selectable where you can go in and set up your Daedalus yet. But that is coming short. Okay. Crypto Egypt says he's got to go off and work to trot until 8 moons. Yeah, there you go. You got it, bro. You got it. All right. So Daedalus, big winner on the polls there. When bull run soon? Most people said soon. It was another spoof poll. All right. It's October. I don't do TA and I don't do financial advice, but I think it's coming soon. That's why I did that poll. October 6th, I ran that poll. I think it's coming soon. I smell it coming. I can tell by there's a large number of alerts on my Blockfolio, and everything is going sideways, kind of like late 2017. Things kind of went lull for a little while there, the latter half of 2017, and then boom, it took off. All right, so that was my take on that, not financial advice. Poll, Cardano's stake pool operators only. Does your pool currently earn a profit, break even, or take a loss? Using your own math, estimates, and costs. People have their own way of doing it. They got their own way of figuring out, am I making money or not? In general, they'll get it right because it's important. And 12%. So what is that? Let's say 10% out of 30%. So 1 out of 3 are making a profit. Then your 6% there is breaking even. And then the majority are taking a loss. Okay. So 2-1 are taking a loss. Okay. And that's just to get an idea of where they are at now. Most pool operators I've spoke to said they're okay with breaking even or taking a loss, knowing that the payoff comes in the long run. They've got their pool established, they have it built, and they have it running well. They got their name and they got their brand out there. And as Gogen comes online, the transactions go up, more stake comes online, and the stake starts to diffuse throughout the network. They'll eventually start turning a profit. Currently, Kakel's 150, which is not really helpful. But as it ratchets up some, it might go high and then lower back down. For example, they might jump K up to like 500, too high per se, and then slowly throttle it back from 500 down to 400 or 300. That's one option. And the other option is to gradually raise it from 150 to 175, 200, 250, 300, and gradually raise it month after month after several months. That's how it's supposed to work. That's how K is supposed to work. Personally, I think it started a little too low. I think it should have started around 250 to 400 based on the price of ADA. But looking at the poll results, Kate, if on average, if the average person breaks even, so if you take the profit and the loss and you smash them together, if the average person is breaking even, then K was probably at the right number. I hate to say it. I know I'll get beat up over that. K150 was probably the right number. It's only supposed to go up with the price of ADA. That's how it's supposed to work. There's a video by UMed and Lars Brunez came out earlier today. You can check out that video. Dave has a two-part question coming up. I'll check back on that. Let's see here. I the King says, Gogen gives you plus 25 in charisma and plus 5 in swag. There you go. I agree with that. It gives your coin plus 25 in charisma. You must be an old Dungeons and Dragons player like I am, but I'm off of the paper stuff. I'm now an Elder Scrolls guy. Okay. All right. Okay, so number 14 on to number 15, almost done here. I'll be wrapping up within a few minutes, probably in less than 5 minutes. All right, so poll number 15. This poll is still active currently. That's why the bars are gray. It says, if you had to pick one of the highest priorities for Cardano development, which would it be? DeFi and smart contracts was number 1. Interoperability is number 2. I agree with them. I totally agree. Number 3 is voting in governments, and number 4 is speed. You know, what's interesting is voting is almost ready, and the DeFi is almost ready. And then the interoperability will come with the smart contract side of not the DeFi, but the smart contracts. Smart contracts and DeFi then leads on to operability features, some of them, right? But I like it. I really like it. And then funny, speed was the lowest with a very small percentage. Again, people weren't too worried about speed, but speed at scale, that's important. Right now, if you have 20,000 regular users, 10,000 regular users, but then you have 50,000 incidental users, they might use your Roy Daedalus once or twice a week, make a transaction once or twice a week, make a delegation. A delegation is a transaction. They might delegate or redelegate once or twice a week. There you're looking at not a real heavy transaction load. But once you get bots on trading and smart contracts running and all these other things running, the transaction load is going to go way up. It should go way up. That's what you would anticipate. Anyway, really interesting. DeFi smart contracts and interoperability were the top 2 choice in that poll. Last but not least, the most important. Last but not least, here we go. Do you remember all those people who used to say Cardano is just a white paper? Yes, we do, but no one cares. No one cares about them. Look at that number 1. 64% said we are going for number 1. Fuck them. They don't care. We don't care about those people anymore. We're going for number 1. Pepperidge Farmers remembers, okay? But nobody cares about those people anymore because they done lost. All them trolls from other projects, yeah, you don't hear from them anymore. They've like deleted their accounts. I've got a picture of one of them here. Trolls literally deleted their account. I showed it to Kyle Solomon. Kyle Solomon could back me up. Guy used to troll us a lot. Deleted his account. Gone. That's what happens. That's what happens when you do it right. That's what happens when you do it right. All right, fight. All right, guys. All right, folks, ladies, gents. I'm going to wrap it up here shortly. Don't forget, we're going for number 1. I'm going to bring this screen share down. Okay. Any remaining questions, I will go ahead and catch up on those here. There was a 2-part question up there somewhere. Where was that at? Who had the 2-part question? Let's see. Any word on Basho and what we should expect? Basho is scaling from Mario Sterling. Thank you, Mario. Any word on Basho and what we should expect? Basho scalability. It's good. I call it kind of Basho plus Hydra. And I don't know what you should expect. Higher speeds under a heavy load. Okay. So high speed under heavy load. That's the key. You can have high speed. Yay, great. Okay. Look at EOS, for example. Very fast. Look at XRP, very fast, but also very federated. Okay. But with Basho, you're going to see high speed under heavy load and decentralized, not federated. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question, Mario. Let's see. Gogen unlocks Rogan. That's pretty cool. I love that. Yeah, Charles is going to go on Rogan after Gogen. Let's see. Waiting for day list off for Ledger. We got that one. Smash the smash the sluts. Gosh. Come on, guys. Okay. Recommended the Engrave wallet for offline storage and staking. Yeah, very interesting. I think Engrave is that stainless steel wallet. It comes with a whole bunch of letters and you can piece your letters in there. Those are really cool. You can also get your private key tattooed on your inner thigh if you want no one to ever find it. They'll never find it there, but you got to do the tattoo yourself. Don't let your tattoo artist know your private key. Let's see here. Let's see. Some smaller stake pool operators have been turning off nodes or relays based on these results. It's not great for the network. Dave, that's a good question. Thanks, or a good comment. He said he asked for thoughts. You can check the Pool Tool app. It used to be the Pegasus app. There's a video on my channel. Check that app. You can see that the massive majority are online. Okay. When I checked it a little while ago, it was like 2,300, 2,400. Actually, I've got it right here on my phone. I'll check the Pool Tool app. There's also an Ada Pools app. I didn't download that one. I got to do video on that. Yeah, you can check the relays that are online. No, I forget. Okay, network pools. Where did I put it? I should have looked first. I should have looked it up first before I committed. I committed. Number of relays online. I'll find it in there somewhere. All right, yeah. So there's like 2,300 relays online. Now there are pools that are retiring because they're having trouble getting delegations, but there are also new pools coming online as well. So it's about a 1-for-1 replacement. If you go to Ada Pools, there is a metric. Adapools.org has a metric for number of new pools total, right? And it'll add the new ones and remove the retired ones. Okay, let's see here. Sassy Boy says, where's Mr. Chico? I don't know. He's making videos about other stuff, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. His real name is Tyler, isn't it? Tyler? I think it's Tyler. Chico is the name of the town. He's actually talented at making videos. I just wish he wouldn't use his talents in the way that he did, because he can make really good videos. I mean, better than mine, for crying out loud. Let's see. Porcupine Bum says, if Cardano takes number one, what will be the most effective use of WTH? I don't know what WTH. So what I mean by number one is number one in smart contracts, number one in usability, number one in interaction, user interface, easy for people to use, reliable, secure, and market cap. Okay. If all the other ones are number one, well, okay, you got to do that first. If you build a number one product, the market cap will follow later on. Okay. And that's how I do it. I don't do financial advice, but I do technology assessment. I look at it and go, okay, it's being built correctly. And if they keep building in this direction, the way they're doing it, the technology will be number one. And then eventually the market cap will probably follow. That's how I look at it. I don't know what ETH, I'm sorry, wrapped ETH or ETH. What will be the most effective use of ETH? Well, same thing. I mean, ETH has a lot of dApps. It has smart contracts on it. It's the DeFi thing, but I don't know. They're trying to move to ETH 2.0 proof of stake, and they're working on it. They didn't do it the same as Cardano. They didn't do their research. Let's see. Do you have any more insight on how Ergo will play into the ecosystem? No, I don't. From Porcupine Bum, I don't. It's a proof of work. I mean, any more insight beyond, I would say check Ergo on Twitter, what they have running on Ergo, and see how that plays out. But the fact that it'll interact with Cardano, I mean, we'll see how that goes. You know, I'll be on. looking into the future, I would say eventually Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, eventually Cardano will run Ethereum better than Ethereum can run Ethereum. If Cardano keeps building the way it's building, Cardano will run Ethereum better than Ethereum runs Ethereum. And eventually, Bitcoin could probably move to proof of stake. There's no reason why it can't. People can keep their same addresses, keep their money in their wallets, all that kind of stuff. And eventually the miners are phased out and some sort of proof of stake is implemented, change the engine in the rocket while it's flying through space. It's possible, right? Let's see. Sassy Boy says, do you think they will postpone Gogen? I don't think so, but there's no clear hard date on Gogen either. So it's kind of hard to postpone something that doesn't have a clear hard date. It has kind of like a sliding scale. If you saw that blue chart with the markers saying when the Gogen testnet starts, technically we should already be in the Gogen testnet. So it is kind of postponed already. So will it be postponed? Final delivery. Yeah, I think so. It will be. But you will see Gogen technologies out by the end of the year. My assessment only my opinion. I have no inside knowledge. One Sierra asks, Rick, how soon do you see GPT-3 embedded in Cardano apps? One, I do not know what GPT-3 is. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Gerald says, I'll be staking ETH just to see how it compares to Cardano. Yeah. Okay, good. That'll be good, Gerald. That'll be great to hear your feedback on how the ETH staking occurs. I'm curious about what is the 32 minimum ETH requirement? Is it 32 minimum required to stake, or can you just stake with 1 ETH? Is it possible? That would be interesting to know. I remember there was a 32 minimum. Metal Gear says the miners would never willingly switch to proof of stake. Yeah, that's good. I mean, yeah, for Bitcoin, if Bitcoin moving to proof of stake, the miners would not willingly switch unless there's an incentive. Don't know what that would be. Okay. Let's see. Charles said he would announce or should announce dates next week. Okay, that'll be interesting to hear. Looking forward to that. And the King says the dates are coming. This product update. Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah. Most importantly, it overrides anything I said. All of my estimates are just based on history, observing how long it takes things to release. So then I go, okay, well, how long is it going to take Gogen to get out if this is where we're at, right? And then I estimate maybe 50% chance by the end of November, we'll see Gogen Tech on the mainnet. Maybe. And then a higher percent, maybe 75% chance by the end of December. Okay. That's how I do it. I do what is the percent chance of possibility by the end of a certain time. So I'd say 50% chance by the end of November, 75 chance by the end of December, 90% chance by the end of January it will be out. So that's how I scale my estimates. Okay. Kumar Subrani asks, what happens to staking rewards when circulating supply equals max supply? Rewards would then come from the transaction fee entirely. Yes, that is correct. It'll come from the transaction fees. And by that point, the general assumption is the value of ADA will be high enough that the rewards from the transaction fees will sustain the network. That is the concept. I think it'll work. Right now, the burn rate is it's like half of the remaining supply every 4 years will be given out in rewards. So it's almost like a Bitcoin halvening. Okay. So if you think half the distance to the goal and half the distance to the goal, again, kind of a problem. Okay. Roland Jacob says, when quantum computers break proof of stake, they will be forced to move proof of work. No, that's not how it works. But if they do it 1 second too late, then I think Bitcoin crashes. The problem with quantum computers is that they can break the private key public key pair, and that's they'll solve it and go, oh, and then now they can take the money because they reversed the private key from the public key. That's where the problem comes in. Yeah, so maybe it is a little different between proof of stake and proof of work. Quantum computers still in their infancy. Hey, I've got a recommendation for you. I'll put the link down below if I remember to do this. Check out Explained at 5 Stages Quantum Computing, or Explained at 5 Ages, where there's this lady who's a doctor at IBM and has working quantum computer. She's got a quantum computer with like 300 qubits, which is it's about the power of a desktop computer. And she does Explained at 5 Levels Quantum Computing. Awesome video. You will love it. Trust me, you will love that video. She does a fantastic job. And after that, you understand, oh, that's how quantum computers, you understand how it works. All right. Nicholas Schreiber says 13.4 million per epic for now. Is that how much is rewards? 13.4 million in rewards go out. And I've seen about the treasury going up around or close to 8 million per epic. That doesn't seem to make sense, but that's what I thought I've observed. Metal Gear says, you back from Japan? Yes, I'm back from Japan. And I think that'll do it. Any other questions? What would happen to 8 if something, God forbid, happened to Charles? I don't know. I don't know. I think it would go on fine. Charles is trying really hard to make himself obsolete and unneeded. But for a visionary, that's really hard to do. It's really hard for him to make himself no longer needed. Ask Steve Jobs, right? So what would happen? I think it'd be fine. It'll just keep going because think about this. There's 280 employees at IOG. And you notice how I spelled IOG correctly with my mouth? I didn't say IOHK. I said IOG. So no typos with my mouth. IOG, 280 employees, maybe 220, 280. About 30 people to Mergo, 20 some odd. In Cardano Foundation just got a CEO, and that guy's really cool. Wow, you're looking at 350 some odd people working on Cardano. It'll be okay. We'll be fine. 350 people plus 1,200 stake pool operators, at least 1,000. Okay, 1,300 people working on Cardano. And now that's 3,000 people did the Marlowe Plutus Playground Udemy courses. So it's a lot of people. It's a lot. We'll be okay. All right, let's see. All right, we're good. We're good. Okay. I hope I got everything covered there. Wow, this went longer than I thought. But thank you, everyone, for joining me here at Digital Fortress. Feel free to hit like and subscribe if you like the Digital Fortress channel. I keep my channel commercial free. I don't keep it cussing free. Apologize if I said fuck, shit, or piss or anything like that. I didn't mean to piss you off. But, raw, uncut, AMAs, live streams, just giving you guys the data, no bullshit. That's what I do here at Digital Fortress. That's my thing. And yeah, so feel free to like and subscribe. If you like my pools, I got Digi and Digi 2, DIGI, Digi 2, Digi 3 coming soon. We'll figure it out. We're looking at the market. We'll think when it's a good time to launch a Digi 3. We do have the pledge to back it up. We've got lots of horsepower to back it up. We've got lots of bandwidth to back it up. So no point in letting all that pledge and horsepower and bandwidth go to waste. I've got fibers running out there that are relatively unused. They only got a tiny bit of data on them. So yeah. All right. So thanks everyone for joining me here. Like, subscribe, and feel free to stake to Digi and any other pools I gave a shout out during this live stream. Y'all take care and have a good evening. Thank you for joining me here. Take care. Bye-bye.